Hello and welcome to Bounty into Comics. My name is John Trent. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of Bounty into Comics. Today I got a story about Chris Pratt, who's been constantly being attacked online as a white supremacist. And he now has a couple of people defending him. We've got Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, James Gunn, Josh Gad, and Zoe Saldana, as well as his wife, Katherine Schwarzenegger, stepping up to the plate to defend Chris Pratt from the online mob. But before we get to the defense of Chris Pratt, let's kind of set the stage of what's going on. My colleague Spencer Bakuli did a great article that you should definitely check out on Bound in Comics, showing all the people who are attacking Chris Pratt, and they were attacking him. There was kind of a twofold attack. So you had, on the one hand, people were doing this kind of meme that's been going around for a while, where you choose the worst Chris to get rid of, and you have that your options are Chris Pine, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and Chris Pratt, and everyone is primarily choosing Chris Pratt for his Christianity and his attachment to this Hillsong church, this Christian church that he attends. And then there's also this perception that he is a Donald Trump supporter. So they're hating him on that, calling him, like I said, all sorts of nasty names, white supremacist probably being the nastiest. But then you also have, on top of that, there's an Avengers-themed Joe Biden for President virtual fundraiser that Pratt was not attending, and you had a couple of other Avengers actors were attending, and Pratt was notably not on there. So people were taking issue with that, the fact that they're seeing that as also he's choosing Donald Trump because he's not attending this fundraiser, even though there's plenty of other Avengers actors that were not attending the fundraiser, but they decided to go after Chris Pratt. And he's also worn a Gadsden flag t-shirt, and people took issue with that a couple years ago. So that's kind of why he's being attacked. That's very brief. I mean, if you look at Spencer's article, you can see the specific attacks, and they really go hardcore at him. A lot of these people just are just ruthless in their attacks against him. And since those attacks, he's gotten some defenders, and probably the biggest one is Iron Man actor Robert Downey Jr., who took to Instagram to not only defend Chris Pratt, but chided those attacking him for his faith and his perceived political opinions. So Downey Jr. wrote, "What a world. The sinless are casting tones at my brother Chris Pratt. A real Christian who lives by principle has never demonstrated anything but positivity and gratitude, and he just married into a family that makes space for civil discourse and just plain fact insists on service as the highest value." Downey Jr. would then go on to give some advice to those attacking the Guardians of the Galaxy actor, saying, "If you take issue with Chris, I've got a novel idea. Delete your social media accounts, sit with your own defects of character, work on them, then celebrate your humanness." Finally, he concluded, "Chris Pratt, I got your back. I think that's some great advice that Robert Downey Jr. gives. I think some self-reflection is really needed, especially now when people are just hating on people that they don't even know. Like I talked about yesterday, you had Marina Sirtis just hating on Kirstie Alley, and she admitted she has never even met her, has never even actually talked to her or had a conversation with her, and she's just spewing all this vitriol at her. And you see this with this Chris Pratt. You know these people have never met him. They don't know anything about him, and they're just hating on him for their perception of him. And maybe having some self-reflection would be a really good thing. So I think that's actually some really good advice from Robert Downey Jr. there. And maybe it's some advice that some of his fellow Avengers actors can take, because as we'll find out here, Downey Jr. was not the only one to defend Pratt. Hulk actor Mark Ruffalo would also defend his fellow Avengers Endgame actor on Twitter. Ruffalo wrote, "You all, Chris Pratt is a solid man there is. I know him personally, and instead of casting aspersions, look at how he lives his life. He is just not overtly political as a rule. This is a distraction. Let's keep our eyes on the prize, friends. We are so close now." So this is quite interesting that Ruffalo is defending Pratt from the mob that he routinely engages in on almost a daily basis. Just a big example, we did a video of it last week, I believe. Earlier this month, Ruffalo accused Vice President Mike Pence of, quote, white male supremacy. So he's using the same attack that he's defending Chris Pratt from against the Vice President of the United States of America. So he's literally engaging in the same thing that he's now defending Chris Pratt from, the same mob that he's defending Chris Pratt from. Not only has Ruffalo gone after Mike Pence, but he's insinuated that supporters of President Donald Trump are xenophobic. Again, he's saying people he doesn't even know are xenophobic, that he's never met, they're xenophobic. He's literally doing the same thing that he's defending Chris Pratt from. So in March, Ruffalo wrote on Twitter, "Dear Donald Trump, when you blame a virus on an entire race of people, you turn people against them. When you make these unscientific political statements, some of your followers begin to act violently and in exclusionary, xenophobic ways against these people. Do better." So I think that Robert Downey Jr.'s advice applies here to Mark Ruffalo. He needs to step back and have some self-reflection as well, and look at what he's been saying about people. Because he, like, again, I can't reiterate this enough. He is engaging in the mob that he's now defending Chris Pratt from, and if you look at his defense of Chris Pratt and the responses there, they're going after him now too, just for defending Chris Pratt. The mob has turned on Mark Ruffalo in this instance because of his defense of Chris Pratt, and maybe that will see that maybe what he's doing isn't the right thing, and that what he's doing is he's being an example for a lot of these people, or he was setting an example. They've kind of, obviously they're turned on him, so they're not following his example anymore, but he was setting an example previously, and maybe he'll have a change of heart, and he'll stop engaging in the mob like he has. But personally, I highly doubt it. I don't think that'll happen. I hope that it will. I pray that it will, but I just don't think it will. Just his track record doesn't seem that way. So Ruffalo again isn't the only one who has previously engaged with the mob and is now defending Chris Pratt. Suicide director James Gunn also defended Pratt. He responded to Ruffalo's tweet, writing, "Sorry, just finding out about this nonsense. Chris Pratt is the best dude in the world. I spent hours and hours sharing my deepest truths with this man, as he has with me. Please stop assuming what he believes politically or in any other way because he's a Christian." He would go on to praise Pratt's character, writing, "What matters to me is how people treat the crew members and wait staff and fans, and Chris Pratt is always incredibly kind to these people, which is one of the reasons I love him." He would also question why people believe Chris Pratt is a Donald Trump supporter, and that seems to be why he's getting so much of the hate, is because people perceive him as a Donald Trump supporter. So a fan asked, "Did Chris Pratt ever explicitly state he supports Trump?" And James Gunn responded, "No, so why are people assuming this and tweeting this? No clue, it's weird." In fact, as my colleague Spencer Bacouli points out, Chris Pratt donated $2,000 to Democrat presidential candidate at the time, Tulsi Gabbard. So he's actually donated to Democrat. So it's kind of weird that people think that he is a supporter of President Donald Trump. Again, I think it comes from the fact that he wore a Gadsden flag t-shirt and he's a Christian. And people just make this assumption that equals Donald Trump supporter. But also, like Ruffalo, Gunn has also gone after President Donald Trump and his supporters. He's been part of this mob that he's now defending Chris Pratt from. Back in 2018, in response to a tweet from Ava DuVernay, Gunn implied that President Trump and his supporters are white nationalists. He wrote, quote, "Technically, anything Trump says is something a white nationalist says after he says it." Gunn also described the president as a child-abusing wad of orange-inflected phlegm come to life. That's actually quite descriptive, much better than George R.R. Martin's. A lot more creativity there. I will give him credit for that. But again, he's still just attacking a human being that he probably has never met. They aren't, and so this is a full quote here, "They aren't missing a conductor. His name is Donald Trump, a child-abusing wad of orange-inflected phlegm come to life. And he could stop this with a phone call, but refuses until the American people give him money. They don't have to build a wall." So that was from 2018. So you have these examples of him engaging in the mob that he's now defending Chris Pratt from. So again, like Mark Ruffalo, let's hope that he sees what's going on. He sees all this hate, and that's also being directed towards him now. And he realizes that what he had previously done before is in the wrong, and he kind of tries to set an example of this and kind of condemn the social media mob that just, honestly, it's way out of control. It's targeting anyone that they perceive doesn't agree with their like worldview and just wants to destroy them. And that's what they are trying to do to Chris Pratt. They're trying to destroy him. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like that's working. You do have a couple people coming out and defending him. But let's hope that James Gunn, again, I'll be praying for him and be hoping for him that he will realize what he has been engaging in is wrong because he's now defending it. So again, just like Ruffalo and Pratt, Frozen voice actor Josh Gad would also defend Pratt in response to Ruffalo's tweet. He wrote, "Seconded, they don't get better than Chris Pratt." And again, just like Ruffalo and Gunn, he's engaged in these social media mobs. In 2016, he wrote, "Not all Trump supporters are racist, but sometimes it does feel like all racists are Trump supporters." And I'm really serious. I hope these guys really do have a change of heart here. And I do commend them for coming out and defending Chris Pratt, because I think that is a really good sign that they are coming out here and defending Chris Pratt. And I do agree with them defending Chris Pratt. That's great. I commend them for that. But I do also hope that they realize that their behavior, their past behavior and the behavior that they've been doing just recently, before this incident, was part of the same social media mob that they're now defending Chris Pratt from. So one of the person who has also been targeted by the social media mob before is Pratt's Guardians of the Galaxy co-star Zoe Saldana, and she would also show her support for him. She wrote on Twitter, she quoted the rapper Tupac, saying, "No matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it." She then went on to write, "You got this, Chris Pratt. Your family, friends, colleagues, and everyone who's ever crossed paths with you knows your heart and your worth." And so, like I said, Zoe Saldana has experience with the social media mob. She apologized for portraying Nina Simone in 2016 because she wasn't black enough, apparently, to take on that role, because she was being pressured by this mob for that role that she did. And that's what you're having there. Just she wasn't black enough for a lot of these people for that role. I haven't watched that movie. I've looked at some of the pictures of Nina Simone and Zoe Saldana, and they look quite similar to me. So I'm not really sure why you have that type of vitriol out there against her. So she knows exactly what Chris Pratt is going through, because she has experienced it as well. So Pratt's wife, Katherine Schwarzenegger, who has come out and supported Joe Biden for president, would also defend him on Instagram, specifically after E! News kind of jumped in on the whole meme of which Chris Pratt they should get rid of. So E! News on an Instagram post asked, "Which Hollywood Chris is the best? Marvel, weigh in and see which actor the internet is giving the boot to." Schwarzenegger responded in a comment writing, "Is this really what we need? There's so much going on in the world and people struggling in so many ways. Being mean is so yesterday. There's enough room to love all these guys. Love is what we all need, not meanness and bullying. Let's try that." And I 100% agree with her. I think, and that's exactly what these people are doing. They're being mean and they're bullying. But instead of having one bully that's throwing you into a locker, like you see in a lot of these Hollywood movies, now you're seeing thousands of bullies dogpile you on social media, and there's no way for you to actually there's no way for them to experience any kind of negative repercussions. You can't have a principal stepping in. You can't learn to fight back like the Karate Kid and defend yourself. These people they don't have any negative repercussions. They just go from one target to the next. Right now it's Chris Pratt, and as we saw, as soon as these folks came out and defended Chris Pratt, they became the target. So the mob just moved on right away to them after they defended Chris Pratt. So this mob just continues to move on, targeting the next person and trying to destroy them, not only in their career-wise, but also in their psyche. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bully and destroy you and get you to cow to what they want. So I do want to reiterate that I do commend all of these guys, James Gunn, Mark Ruffalo, Josh Gad, who have participated in this canceled culture before, for kind of taking a stand with it. And I hope they continue to take a stand with it. And I do also have to commend Robert Downey Jr., because I think his advice was also fantastic too. That self-reflection is really kind of what we need. Take a time out before you write whatever nasty thing you're about to write, call someone a name or whatever. Just take a time out, reflect on what you've done today, and maybe see maybe the things that you've done wrong and how you can improve on it. I really think that is great advice. So that's kind of where my thoughts are on this. I do think that this is a huge problem, and I'm not sure I have the answer. I think that Downey Jr.'s advice is really good. My answer is obviously is to connect with God, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be acceptable to that answer. But I do think that is the answer to this problem. And I'm going to keep praying that we will solve this problem and people will do that. But in the short term, I'm not sure how we solve the problem of the social media mob trying to cancel people. We're going to keep doing what we do, is exposing the mob and showing that, pointing out why the mob is wrong. And you'll keep seeing that here on Bounding into Comics. But I'd like to know what you think about the attacks on Chris Pratt, the defense that he's received from Robert Downey Jr., James Gunn, Mark Ruffalo, Josh Gad, Zoe Saldana, and his wife, Katherine Schwarzenegger. I'm interested to know what you say. So leave a comment. Let me know in the comments below what you think and what you think how to solve this problem is. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics.